Good afternoon and welcome to the Hopes Bowl Stadium in Dunedin for the Champion of Champions Peers Tournament, where we are now bringing you the men's final between Leif Selby and James Williams of Auckland up against Albert Anderson and Sam Woods of Nelson. This is how they have got to this stage. Albert Anderson and Sam Woods came through a semi-final against Will Clements and Trevor Ludlow, 13-11 after having a bye in the quarterfinals. Leif Selby and James Williams out of the Carlton Cornwall Club in Auckland, a slightly more difficult path given they had to play a quarterfinal as well. They won 13-11 in the quarterfinals, 14-11 in the semi-finals to get to this stage where obviously Leif Selby needs no introduction. Former Australian player, now living on Waiheke Island in Auckland, encouraged to come out of pretty much retirement to play with James Williams, the greenkeeper at Carlton Cornwall, who has been a runner-up before in the New Zealand Open Peers, and taking on the Albert Anderson, Sam Woods, Motueka Bowling Club combination in Nelson. Their biggest title so far is that Nelson Centre title in the Peers. Only spent the last couple of seasons playing together. Albert Anderson originally out of Southland, Sam Woods originally from Christchurch, now calling Nelson home. As I welcome in Evan Roberts back into the commentary position here, as we very much look forward to this contest between two very well performing peers over the last few days.
Yeah, there's been some great bowls played by these two teams over the last couple of days, and those that have been here will, add testament to that. Leif Selby, obviously not losing too much over the time that he's been away from bowls. He's been very, very consistent and played some outstanding bowls.
He did tell me just moments ago he is going to start playing a bit more, that he's really enjoyed himself over the last few days, and that will certainly be to the Auckland region's gain, getting the calibre of a player like Leif Selby, player of a very high standard. Probably came as a bit of a shock when he retired from international play.
Well, yeah, I was just thinking back to when he was last or significantly involved. It was
probably a decade ago.
2012?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Adelaide or
exactly.
World Champs, where he actually, I think he took out the gold medal from memory.
Yeah, very, very good player. Interesting as well, he's using Drake's Pride bowls, his own model, Alias 125, so Leif Selby, 125 is his cap number for Australia, and this is their debut as well.
Brilliant. So, well, they look to have been going pretty well from what I've seen. So
made for New Zealand conditions, he tells me.
Alias 125s, there you go. People will be jumping on the Drake's Pride website.
Well, especially if he turns this into a title here. Trying to get some assistance from his lead, James Williams, as to how to find a passage through to the jack.
Fairly widespread head there. First end.
Yeah, real settler of an end, this one, isn't
absolutely. Getting a good feel for the green and the weight.
No roll up, of course. And it has been a good, decent break. We have starting, obviously, earlier than originally scheduled, but still a good 40 minutes since they probably finished their semi-finals.
Yeah, the men's...
And probably an hour for Anderson and Woods, but probably 40 minutes for Selby and Williams since they finished.
Very apt commentary there from the rink. 2 shots, was it? Couple of nervous ones, he indicated. 2 shots to the Woods and Anderson team, by the look of it.
Yeah, nothing going up from the marker, but it seems to have been what was indicated. Certainly they have the mat, so they have scored.
Yeah, I think a couple of nervous.
Yeah, I think...
Let's call it 2.
Yeah. if we put it on the board, it's official.
Exactly. That looks pretty short to me.
It does, doesn't it? Matt is not quite all the way back, but is reasonably far back. But well, they seem happy with it.
It'll be the shortest end I've seen played today.
Yes, certainly. There was a couple attempted by the Dunedin combination earlier in our women's final, Sarah Scott and Bronwyn Stevens, but they unfortunately didn't quite get the jack down long enough.
So that's Sam Woods played his first bowl. I thought I recognised, James Williams?
Yes.
Yeah, from Carlton Cornwall, the greenkeeper. I was thinking, where do I know you from?
He was very busy during the Somerset
exactly.
National singles and pairs at the start of the year. Obviously, there's a bit of
the
weather.
green, yeah.
Did a great job
under the yellow raincoat.
Yeah, looking after, given that crazy weather there was in Auckland in early January. A lot of rain in a short period of time. Made sure that those greens are still well looked after at Carlton Cornwall. He says slightly unorthodox delivery, to say the least.
That's all right, as long as he does it the same every time.
Absolutely.
Then there's no problem.
And as he was telling me, being left-handed and having a slightly unorthodox delivery, no one can really follow
Correct.
his line because it's different to everyone else's.
That line is owned only by him.
Yeah. And Leif Selby as well. He said he's very proud of how James has played, being, just a club bowler. And obviously having won the Auckland Centre title, now trying to turn it into a national title.
Well, from what I saw an earlier game today, he was leading very, very well as well. So, he's obviously stepped up to the mark and done some work and deservedly playing the final. And compliments there from Leif.
Yeah, it certainly seems to have settled into his work after a slightly scrappy first end from pretty much all the players.
Yeah.
Good couple of bowls there from James Williams to lead the Carlton Cornwall pairing. So now as the skips make their way to the mat. Albert Anderson moved to Motueka a few years ago, playing most of his early bowls in Southland. Still got that great Southland roll of the R though. Yeah.
Well, to have progressed through to this point.
And both unbeaten as well, both these pairings.
Yeah, it's outstanding work. Stringing game after game together.
They really ground out their work in section play. 15-13, 13-10, 13-11.
All good close games.
Yeah, and then 13-11 again in their semi-final. So they haven't run away with any.
No.
But they've got the job done.
It's looking to be... Yeah, still just 3 shots there for the Selby Williams team.
Yeah,
all deck level.
Selby and Williams, 17-4, 19-7, 18-4, their first 3 games. Dominant. And then completed that with a 19-13 win in section play.
Yeah,
and then have had it not quite as convincing in their quarterfinal and semi-final, but had to play the extra games as well compared to Anderson and Woods. They've actually played an extra 2 games of Selby and Williams. Do you think that's an advantage, a disadvantage?
Look, depends. I guess it depends on the individual. Some love to be playing. The more you're playing, the more feel you're getting, and the more feedback you're getting from the green. So, and then if you're maybe thinking that there's a concrete floor under here, if you're thinking that you're getting a little bit tired, it's a negative. So swings and roundabouts to whoever's sort of getting the extras or not getting the extras depends on how they perceive it to be for them.
Very good end. That was a 5.
5 there, was it?
Yeah. And after it's scrappy of the first, they certainly found their work. So and it was just confirming it was just a 1 as well on the previous end. So What a way to bounce back, though, for Selby and Williams with a 5 in the second to take the early running. 5-1, they now lead. 2 ends played of our men's final. Champion of Champions pairs here at the Hopes Bowl Stadium in Dunedin. And you saw a little flash of the quality of Leif Selby, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah. Certainly, certainly in the area, that first end we can write off. That's gone. There was a feeling out. End that second end, there was some quality shots there. Another shorty being played.
Well, you can understand it, can't you? After the way they just picked up a 5, they thought, well, let's stick to that length.
Yep. And they're not mucking around either. She's a fairly swift pace when you think about it.
Absolutely. Yeah, they have not mucked around.
It's a good start.
It is very much the Australian way as well to play with pace, isn't it? The
Yeah.
majority of the Australian players play very, very quickly.
Yep.
If you're Anderson and Woods, when it's perhaps not your natural game, should you try and slow it down?
Well, if it's making you uncomfortable, then obviously, because it's doing you a favour and it's a thorn in the other team's side. So I guess it's that whole mental aspect again. Are you coping with it and you're remaining competitive? Then stick with it. If you're not, then look to change it up and slow things down.
Is that easy to do though? Is it hard?
Well,
can it be easy to get carried away with what the opposition's doing and you just get drawn into it?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
We've found that happens reasonably often. We've found in historical sort of events that some of our particularly our developing athletes get hooked into the momentum and the flow, so they continue to play at the pace rather than their own pace. And whether that's a tactic or not of our opposition, I'm not so sure, or whether it's just that that level of play and being away and just getting caught in the moment. But obviously it's a mental skill that needs to be practiced to make sure that you're doing what you can do at your pace when you need to do it. So 3 shots, 3 good bowls. Nothing over the top currently aside from one there, but I don't think that'll worry Leif too much.
Albert Anderson just saying to Sam Woods, do you want to change your hand, please? Just hold up.
He's just looking to get into that couple of options on that other side rather than just the one out there. He can push through or he can slip. He's going to get his own and push it in behind, which is not all bad either. So. Good example of hat here.
Yeah, it's been actually
for those of the
quite amusing how many people have been still wearing hats indoors the last couple of weeks.
Well, I think the glare factor is
it is a factor here.
Yeah,
okay.
We get a lot of people wearing hats or shades, like
right. Okay.
Just to keep the glare off. It used to be worse here when they were. These are all LEDs now, so they used to be fluorescents, and it was quite bad.
Right, I can imagine with fluorescents.
So the carryover, it's possibly the carryover from that.
And I suppose when you play so much bowls with a hat, it's just what you're used to, isn't it?
Exactly.
What you feel comfortable with.
A bit like myself. You hardly ever see me out of a hat.
Yeah, you're always going to defend the hat brigade, aren't you?
Absolutely. Well, nicely paced there. See, there's no mucking around here. Leif's on the mat, ready to go. All good.
No, it's been played at a very, very fast tempo. And if it continues in the way it's going, you'd think Anderson and Woods would want to change the tempo here to maybe just try and unsettle Selby and Williams. Take your time. Don't feel rushed playing. I know Trans-Tasman, the last time we were over in Australia, a game we were covering between Aaron Wilson and Jamie Hill was just incredible, the pace it was played at.
Yes. To
an extent where the jack was rolled before the marker was even in place. It was almost hitting the marker. It was just making his way down the green. They both just played with such speed. It was really a race to 21.
Yeah. Yeah.
The true sense of the word.
And they managed to play at that pace, and that's great.
Yeah, and I think Jamie Hill like to play at that pace as well. It wasn't like it was just Aaron Wilson's way of playing. But I think in this instance, I think you certainly get the feeling it's more the Leif Selby way rather than Albert Anderson. He's a decent bowl though. Just holds. Just going to slide past.
There's currently probably
a big number, I think.
4 shots there.
Three taken away.
Well, unless he's counting those front 2 in as well, then that's 5.
5.
That's another 5.
Another big number.
So,
back-to-back 5s after dropping a 1 on the first. As we have our first opportunity in the men's final to make our way down to the Mason Lounge. We have Elliot Mason greenside with his first guest of the men's final. Who have you got there, Elliot?
Grant Simpson with me here, Brenton. Welcome aboard, Grant. Obviously, we're into the men's peers final now, where Leif Selby and James have just picked up 2 consecutive 5s, which has really put them on the front foot now. Grant, you're going to be the incumbent Bowls Dunedin president. How do you feel?
Yeah, I'm fairly positive about the whole thing, really. I think it's time for change. Hopefully some of my ideas will work and we can go forward, progress the game. If you look at a sport where the majority of our players probably played more of their bowls last century than this century, I think, yeah, we'll move forward, and we're based on the model of other areas in the country.
Yeah, absolutely, and you've got a few plans that you want to do with the Bowl Stadium as well as your club. Would you like to run us through a wee bit of those? Yeah,
sure. I'm a member at Andersons Bay, and we're currently in negotiations with the council and the stadium here to sell up our land. Fortunately, the club's got a freehold facility, and look at sort of providing 2 international quality greens here, which will probably make this potentially one of the better stadiums or facilities in the South Island.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, all credit where it's due, and it's without being biased. This is probably the best stadium throughout New Zealand. Just talking to some of the players today, they cannot rate it highly enough, and it's absolutely fantastic that we have this facility here in Dunedin, and it's being utilised to its full potential now, which is even better.
Yeah, I think this year particularly, following on from COVID, has been fantastic. I'd say we were a little worried during the COVID period. Obviously closed. We couldn't bowl that winter here. We were closed down, interfere with the summer season. But since then, I think at the moment here, the leagues are full every night. You can't actually get on here now. Actually, it's balloted out. We have more people wanting to play here than we have room for. That's 5 nights a week. As you can see, we've got tournaments like this here. Weekends are full with the PBA. And it's taken a long time. There's been a lot of people put a lot of hard work, and volunteers have worked on this stadium for 20 odd years now. And I think it's really starting to come to fruition and go forward.
Absolutely, and it's probably the thing that we can take for granted at times is the use of our volunteers, and this stadium would simply not be operable without them. So absolute credit where it's due. They've done a fantastic job. You've got Pat in the kitchen. She's been an absolute workhorse for years in here. John Latimer, he's another fella. You just can't thank them enough for the work that they do. It's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I agree with you, and just hats off to John. Really, this whole thing moving forward with Andersons Bay has been driven by him. I don't believe the stadium would be half the success it has been without his input, and it's all on a volunteer basis, and it probably does wear. And you have to now look going forward. So the idea now with the facility going forward would be to put the 2 outside greens in. We'll then look at basing the whole club and the whole facility on an Australian bowling club model. Where we'll have a full-time manager and run the facility as a community venue, not just for bowls, but for the community to use as well.
Yeah, absolutely. But without further ado, we better let the guys up in the commentary box, Brenton and co, to get back to it. Cheers.
Thank you very much. That's Elliot Mason in the Mason Lounge. And that was Grant Simpson, the incoming president of the Dunedin Centre. As we are reaching the conclusion of this 4th end, racing through our men's final, the champion of champions peers here at Hope's Bowl Stadium in Dunedin.
Yeah, they're certainly not mucking around. Here's the shot coming in from Leif Selby, mate. Oh, running. Beg your pardon. Called it too early.
It looked good, didn't it? It looked
look
good
good.
to sit right in front of that bowl and be the shot. There's still an opening for Albert Anderson here.
I'm trying to pick which is shot, Brenton. Is it this burgundy bowl down the bottom left here?
That's what it looks to be. About this
that's
could
number
be
one.
the shot here. Well played by Albert Anderson. As I mentioned, there was a track for him to reach the head. He hasn't quite reached, but close enough for shot. And now Leif Selby down on the head, which hasn't happened since the first end.
That classic Australian style, flowing.
Not quite as the call from James Williams. So it looks like they'll be on the board again. Albert Anderson and Sam Woods here, barring catastrophe.
Doubling their score at least and looking for another one.
Get control of the mat back. It'll be interesting to see what they do with the mat.
So, Brenton, you tasked me with getting the bowls details, which I didn't.
But
you managed to get the
don't worry.
LS125s.
I'll bring you up to date with what the other players are using as well.
Good.
So one down. Thank you very much, James Williams, the lead for the Auckland pairing. So that one going the way of Albert Anderson and Sam Woods. So 4 ends played. It is now Leif Selby and James Williams leading Albert Anderson and Sam Woods 10-2. So yes, I mentioned that Selby, former Australian international, of course, using the Drake's Pride Bowls, special model, LS125s. Leif Selby, 125 being the cap number he had for Australia. James Williams, his lead, is using Greenmaster Premiers.
Oh, great bowl.
And Albert Anderson here, the lead for Nelson, after he rolls down the jack, is using
Sam Woods,
VS's.
Sam Woods.
Sam
leading
Woods? What did I say?
Front.
What did I say?
You said Albert.
Oh, Albert Woods,
Albert's
did I?
the skip.
Yeah.
Sam's got
Apologies.
VS's?
So Sam Woods, Albert Anderson has VS's.
Oh, right.
Sam Woods has Henselite Fusions.
Oh, right. Very good.
So there you go for those bowlers out there interested in knowing what the players have been using. So we've got the full range of different bowls being used by all 4 players here.
Yeah, exactly. It's quite a commonly asked question, you know, and people want to know what's going on with them and what they're using. And I think we've got 4 different brands there, haven't we?
Yeah.
We've got Taylors, we've got Greenmasters, we've got Drakes, and we've got
Henselite. Well, it does make sense for those bowlers out there maybe considering a change of bowls and seeing what has
they
worked
do.
for a lot of other players out there.
So I spoke briefly to the girls that played that pairs final, and they did indicate that they felt there was some change in the green pace
Right,
towards
okay.
the end of that,
So we
just
did-
slightly,
yeah.
just fractionally.
Because it did become quite a noticeable change. To a
Particularly
lot
with
of
the
the
skips.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, a lot of short bowls.
And so whether things change from here on, I think that Elliot may be talking to John Latimer later on. He may be able to confirm some information around that. I'm not sure. What the
John
sort of-
Latimer, who runs the Hope's Bowl Stadium here.
That's well under the line.
Change now or what?
Williams asking Selby whether he should change hands. Leif saying no, absolutely not.
Yep, he'll either be looking to get around or under and play to his own bowl. It's going to be another good one, and he's actually played it pretty well.
Yeah, not far
Very,
away at
very
all.
good,
That's
very
the
good.
shot.
That's a premiere for you.
Do you happen to?
Oh, actually, now that you've asked. Yeah, no, I do.
I do like the fact that a greenkeeper uses Greenmasters. I think that's very apt. Now Albert Anderson and his VS's.
Cracking along at a fair old pace.
Yeah, it's like they've got flights to catch. The way they're playing.
I see the Wellington contingent took off a little while ago. They're out to the airport. And of course, you know, the consideration to all those that have flown in or come in from all around the country, of course, that does impact on them. And but they're all still here for the presentations, which is fantastic.
Because we've had players from all quarters as well. They had
Correct.
22 centres, I think, represented the women's pairs, 20 in the men's. From as far as Whangarei, one of our semi-finalists from the Northland Centre. The Hoods, David and Daniel. And just like we had in the women's final, though, we have a North Island v South Island battle. Just whetting the appetite for North-South coming up in September.
Clonk on that bowl. No, just slipping past. Good spot, though. If he hits it with his next one, then that jack's going back there.
Yeah. Just needs to really play with that same weight, doesn't he?
Correct.
Just correct the line slightly, and that will move that jack back.
He's got a couple of options. Even if he's a fraction tight on that line, he's got his green to work off onto the red and push that cat back. Leif covering that shot. And he's got the weight just hanging wide there, though.
Yeah, didn't make the adjustment needed to actually come in just a touch narrower, but actually went wider. Too much green. The weight was good again.
Yep. Leif Selby players last. Handed his bowl by Albert Anderson. Good sportsmanship there.
Looking to add another to the count. Sam Woods, unfortunately, just obstructing the view, but looks handy by the reaction from James Williams.
There we go.
Just going to slide by.
Slid
So
past.
by the reaction there, maybe it's just the one. Although two maybe been pulled out by the marker here. Two shots. So two more for Leif Selby and James Williams out of Carlton Cornwall in Auckland. And they now lead Albert Anderson and Sam Woods, the Motueka Club in Nelson, 12-2. And we have already completed 5 of the 15 ends, so third of the way through our men's final already.
James feeling the heat out there.
Maybe it's the pace they're playing at.
Yeah. Working up a sweat up and down that rink. And another short end. Yeah, they've latched on to that.
Is it
You're gonna have a
long
look at it
enough?
this
I think
time.
maybe Albert Anderson wants to have a quick look
He's
here.
starting to go, hang on, what's going on?
Yeah.
Umpire.
You might see an umpire call for this.
No.
Oh,
Easy. Get on with it. Send
Yeah.
it back. I think Leif just said no, send it back.
yeah. If you're unhappy with it, you can have a go. So you'd think, I'm going to try and play a bit longer here, Sam Woods.
Of course, Leif Selby out of Waiheke, partner of Lisa Prideaux, also in our squads moving forward. So obviously bowls pedigree within that household.
Yes, certainly. Leif was saying one of the hardest things about trying to get back into bowls is that there's only really one surface on Waiheke Island, and it's more like a barefoot bowls kind of thing. It's more of a social kind of club. And so really, Lisa Prideaux does most of her training back on the mainland. And obviously, Carlton Cornwall is right in Epsom in central Auckland. And so it's just about getting the time to get off Waiheke. It is a good 40-minute by ferry kind of situation. So,
And then you've got Auckland traffic to deal with.
well,
when you get over there.
exactly right. So it's not straightforward. And when there are barriers in place, it makes it easier to say, well, let's not play.
Yeah,
But he is saying that there's been a lot of players pressuring him to play, and Lisa's obviously saying, come on, let's play again. So, and this tournament has, you know,
Sparks some
yeah,
interest.
it's got that hunger again going, which is great to see, because I
Certainly a
think
quality
for the
player.
sport of bowls, to have someone like Leif Selby, that's only going to be better off for it.
Yeah, no, certainly got a lot to offer, and oh, that's a nice wee rub.
Yeah, nice little touch off his own. Used it well, if that was the intention, I'm not
Yep.
sure,
Oh.
but you call it.
He didn't put his hand up. So maybe he did call it.
So having to adjust
Sam
now
Woods,
is
he's adjusted
Sam Woods.
quite well, hasn't he? If he's got the run here.
That's a great adjustment,
That is a
really.
great adjustment. Very good
Moved
effort.
well off the centre line, the jack. You heard what was shared there?
No, I
Evan?
think he was just having a bit of a laugh about maybe you need to go back there. He's just going to drop shy too. So James Williams currently holding one shot, probably about, looks to be a foot or so short, or maybe up to a foot short. And Sam Woods, oh no, maybe 8 and 12 or 8 and 15 inches. So nothing really frightening the jack, and the rest of them are short. So everything's short. So I think Leif will be down. I think he'll probably play his forehand down through that port. Maybe get over the top.
Quickly to the mat. Bowl waiting for him. He doesn't muck around.
No, he doesn't muck around, and he is playing that backhand, just looking to find that little port through there to the jack. Looks like a nice little channel. If he's anywhere, if he misses any of those bowls, he's going to go close. So that's a good option, in my opinion. Yeah, good shot.
Right on the money. And as you said, with all the bowls being short.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Any movement's good.
Yeah. So currently holding a couple now. Selby and Williams. There's
This
Mark
looks to be
O'Connor, Bowls New Zealand president, on drinks duty. Thank you very much, sir. Keeping the commentary team and broadcast team all well looked after.
Albert Anderson just dropping short there. His options were actually to get up and over to give himself another chance. Leif switched over to his backhand, his forehand, beg your pardon, and he's going to drop short there too. So, he's going to drop short for second shot.
Well, technically it is short, but
I'm going to stop calling those, honestly.
that's more of a mistake I would have made.
Yeah, we had a couple of wide bowls out there that didn't quite come back. So that was my.
There's Drake Pride's
My
working
story.
all right. There's LS
I'm sticking to it.
125s.
That's right back, splitting the difference between the tee and the ditch, I think.
You know, you've certainly reached a decent level when you got your own bowls, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Now, this is a pretty good advertisement
That's
for them
three-
right there.
3 good bowls, isn't it? Seriously.
So holding 4, Selby and Williams now. 3 of Leif Selby's, 1 of James Williams.
If he's got the pace here, he's on a line if he's got the weight, but I just don't.
It's a good effort, and it has cut 1 out.
It's still 3, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
3 shots to you, yeah.
Yeah. Well said by James Williams, just applauding his skip's work there. So 15-2 it is now. 7 ends, or 6 ends rather, complete on. Now about to play the 7th end. And they haven't just scored in singles, have they? They've scored big numbers. In fact, they haven't scored a single yet.
No, we've had a 5.
2 5s.
5, a 2 and a 3.
Yeah.
We've had the Anderson and Woods pair playing a couple of 1s there, so they'll be looking to They'll be looking to get something close and start forcing the issue a little bit. A couple of shots on the head and take it from there.
Yeah, and that's been the problem, hasn't it, for Anderson and Woods? They haven't just been dropping heads, they've been dropping big numbers.
Yes.
They've got a lot of catching up to do now.
And once
got
again,
themselves into a bit of a hole.
to be fair, James Williams here has been leading pretty well again. He's been giving Leif the opportunity to play, sit a bowl, get to his own bowl for another shot. So he's been putting bowls in good spots and certainly doing his job off the front. Certainly a nice bit of turnout there when you get out there.
Yeah.
Coming back to just a bowl or so high. A couple of shots probably.
And you were mentioning before about technique. Obviously he's got a pretty unique one, unorthodox, but as you were saying, as long as you do the same each time, it doesn't really matter.
That's right.
What
And
your
he
technique
seems to
is.
be, I've sort of, you can't help but watch. No disrespect, James, if you do watch this afterwards, but when you look at it and he's doing the same thing each time, and so he's getting the results, and that's the proof in the pudding. If you can reproduce the same action each time, then you end up with getting decent results. And he's been going well. Dropped a little short there, but hey, the line is hitting well, consistent. And as you say, particularly on an outdoor green, you would never be able to follow that line. Cutting his own track for sure. And there's...
He's a bit unlucky there, Sam
Yes,
Woods. They
indeed.
didn't sit on one of those shot bowls.
A bit like what we saw with the first four ends of the women's.
Yeah.
Sarah Scott slipping through little gaps and holes for bowls and just not getting a result when they were very well played or well pointed bowls.
And given the position they're in after 6 ends as well, they need a bit of fortune,
They do.
Anderson and Woods.
They do need a bit of fortune. You make your own luck, so you never know. They might change things up and do something a little differently as we move forward. They'll be looking at the scoreboard and thinking, well, we do need to do something here.
And the worry for them is they haven't scored more than 15 in any of their games.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to obviously do that to
Already.
overhaul that. And they've conceded more than they have in any game as well. The most they had against them was 13 in their opening game and section play.
So just right on the centre line there, he's just coming around that bowl. That's a pretty good shot. In fact,
From
no
that angle,
indication.
from that angle it looked like it was very good, but maybe it went a bit further past the head. It still looks good there.
Sam Woods just indicating play the same again. So I'm not sure whether we've got one up, one down, what the situation is.
Yeah, I think it still might be 1 or 2 to Selby and Williams.
Yeah, there's just a ongoing roll of bowls being played here. There's certainly
Yeah, as soon as one comes to rest, another one's on its way.
correct. And this looks like it's going to get no indication. So yeah, interesting. I have no idea what's happening there.
I'm just trying to look live out the window.
Oh
to-
right.
to- because it's actually and it's happening in front of us, and so that tells me from obviously the angle's not good side on.
It's two to James.
Exactly.
Oh, still two.
That's still 2, I think.
Maybe three. Oh, two
Yeah,
shots.
two
Two shots.
2 markers have gone up, so 2 more to Selby and Williams, who are in control of us and continue to score in bunches. 5, 5, 2, 3, 2. So just the 2 singles picked up by Anderson and Woods.
I'm just wondering whether they have been sucked into that fast play because they're certainly playing their bowls at an equal pace to particularly Albert, playing his bowls at the same pace as Leif, and as soon as he's off the mat, Albert's on there. So whether that's I don't know them, so whether that's yeah,
it could be the way that Albert Anderson plays, but even if it is, you'd want to change it just to try and put Leif Selby off, wouldn't you? Just saying, no, I'm just going to slow it down, maybe take a few more visits to the head. You know, there's no time limit, so you want to really drag this out. Let's try and force this to a 15th end. I think this is the way you got to look.
We're already playing in 9 here.
Yeah.
We've been going for not that long.
Yeah, the halfway stage already of this contest, playing the 8th end of 15.
I think we've played 40 odd minutes so far.
Now about to make our way back down to the Mason Lounge, as Elliot Mason is now joined by Robin Jefferson, I believe it is, in the Mason Lounge.
Cheers, Brenton. Yes, I do have Robin beside me, good man from Gisborne, and quite a colourful man as well. He's got a wee bit of a past, particularly with one of our greats in the game, Shannon McElroy. I'll pass you over.
What would you like me to say nice about Shannon? I picked up Shannon when he was about 16 and helped him with his game. We had a couple of years together working on it. My wife played a big part with making sure he had breakfast and lunch, and we got him to school at Lytton High School too, which was, I think, very important. And I did attend various functions at Lytton High School, representing Shannon as a support person. But then again, a nice young lady in Nelson chose to take him away. So good luck to him there. I really do say that. But he has been a good example for young people, particularly playing in the game of bowls. And we've enjoyed him. That's Gisborne. Now Nelson are getting the benefits of that. Yes. Anyway, he's been the world champion in the this, that and the next thing, and well done to him. I understand he's about to retire from the game of bowls at this stage. We often find that the younger fellas get out at it somewhere between 25 and 30 and have their families and come back into the game at 45, which we've seen in a number of people in recent times, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you have a look at some of the guys in the New Zealand side, particularly Mike Kernahan, who's 65, and he was playing at peak level for so many years, even when he had breaks in between. And Shannon, absolute credit to the game. The amount that he's achieved in such a short space is just showing what anyone can really do within the sport. And without guys like you, mentoring him through and helping him along the way, that plays a massive role in the build-up of a player, which is great.
It certainly is, and I think if you've got a good person promoting you and doing the little things and making sure you do the little things too, it does work in the right direction as far as all sports are concerned, for that matter.
Absolutely. So tell us a wee bit about the Gisborne area bowls-wise. Like, how many bowling clubs do you have up there, and what's the membership like?
We have 6 clubs up there, 3 in the town and a couple of out of town, and one down at Wairoa. We enjoy one another's company. We only have about 240 bowlers, men and women added together. When I came to Gisborne in 1990, I think there were 750 male bowlers and 250 lady bowlers, but they were part of the Hawke's Bay at that particular time. But some growth there, and we've lost clubs like Ruatoria, Tucumara Bay. There's not the people out there in the country now where they used to be, and they would retire into Wairoa or retire into Gisborne. Now they go further afield, Tauranga, and down to Napier when they retire. So we're not getting the benefit of that. For instance, Wairoa had 200 members. Today it's 25, and round figures. And that's showing the movement of people in the game, particularly what they did for work. working on the farms and things like that. And, you know, we can't do anything about that. Simple as that.
Yes.
People make their own decisions where they're going to retire to, and people also make decisions as to how many people they're going to employ too.
So if anyone's looking to retire, Gisborne's sounding like the spot, and there's good blokes like Robin up there as well. Robin, it's been an absolute pleasure, but I'm going to pass back to the team of Brenton and Evan. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Robin Jefferson there. Great to hear from a local personality from the Gisborne region. Obviously played a major part in the development of Shannon McElroy as well. And I know Shannon, I would have said, without the likes of Robin Jefferson, he would certainly would not have become the great player and person he is now as well. And as Robin mentioned, he's taking a break from international play, but no doubt we'll see Robin back in the future. I think that's another one for Selby and Williams in our men's final. So that's their first single. The first time they haven't scored multiples, but extending their advantage now. 16 shots, and we are just over the halfway stage. 8 ends of the 15 completed, and really for Anderson and Woods here, Evan, what do you think their options are?
Well, they need to win an end.
Start winning ends, yeah.
Win an end and change something again, like similar to what we saw.
Because that's 5 or 4 straight ends now that Selby and Williams have scored on.
Correct. So currently it's 6 ends to 2. So they need to score. They need to win an end and then change something up. Have a bit of a conflab and see what they're going to do. Whether they slow things down, whether they bring the mat right up, whether they change it. They've got to do something because at the moment, you know, it's getting away from them, you could say, at 18-2. So, but they're enjoying themselves. You know, they're still out there having a chat and playing the game that they love, and that's all that we can ask. And I'm sure, you know, they're loving it out there. And credit to James and Leif. They're both putting bowls on the head, on the jack, and doing very, very well.
Well, Robin Jefferson was just mentioning Shannon McElroy, of course, and McElroy was one who's renowned for being able to come back from deficits like this, and it's just about the mental strength as well, isn't it, to just focus on each bowl and each end rather than getting carried away with what the score is.
Yep, absolutely. Shannon's a self-pronounced slow starter, but extending the game, always looking for that second shot, and that's a good shot there from Sam Woods. Always looking to extend the game, drop ones, fine, you know, like get into the rhythm, and I think the thing here is that we're seeing that the Selby-Williams combination have got the rhythm, and the Woods-Anderson or Anderson-Woods combination are just struggling to find their flow, and I can't help but think that's the pace of the game here is just getting away on them maybe.
Yeah, it's hard not to get caught up in that pace that Williams and Selby are playing at. He's going to come up with another handy bowl here from Sam Woods.
Bowl here. That's a great bowl. So
two very good bowls from the Nelson
2 shots
champ lead. The Motueka Bowling Club against the Carlton Cornwall pairing of Selby and Williams, who only started playing together at the club champs this year after finally Leif Selby relented to the request. James Williams said he'd been pestering him for about 2 years.
Come and play.
And Selby finally said, all right, let's do it then.
It's good. It's good to see him back in the game, and obviously he's got to champion 3 shots there. Made 3 shots from that little drag of the cat. Obviously, he's got to get back in the game. He's going to promote his LS125s from Drake's Pride. Can't have your bowl out and not play with it.
Absolutely. Well, it's a good way to get back into the sport as well with your own bowl.
Exactly. Interestingly, I'm just trying to pick the lines and things that he is playing, but they certainly are a turning bowl by the look of it from out here. Drake's Pride's one that I've not had a great deal to do with, but certainly a very popular bowl. And he's going to find that wee gap as well.
He's played very well. They were
Yes, indeed.
2 down, I think, on this end when he got to the mat and quickly turned it into 3 up. Good opening bowl by Albert Anderson, and he's another one here, though. Get him amongst.
This is on a good line.
that's-
If he's got the
looks
pace here
decent.
to get around, he's going to end up with shot here. Very good shot.
Oh, what a reply. Wonderfully done by Albert Anderson.
Front toucher. They're going to mark that.
If I get under my one up there.
Sam Wood's not making any massive effort to go and chalk it. No, it doesn't look like it's going to happen.
Hunting here. It's just going to be wide.
Looking to play bowl to...
So they have won an end, but they could potentially turn into 2 here. That's what Sam Wood's indicating with his foot. Leave it here, please, Albert.
You get to here, you get another shot.
Don't think he likes
No.
it. No. Just runs into one of the short bowls. There's one, though, to Albert Anderson and Sam Woods. They score for the 3rd time. And after 9 of the 15 ends, it's now Leif Selby and James Williams 18, leading Albert Anderson and Sam Woods 3. And that's what they needed. You mentioned at the start of the end, they just needed to score, needed to
Interesting.
get control of the mat. And you would advise taking time here. Like, why not have a bit of a mid-green
Conflab.
chat and just say,
Yeah, what are
what
we
can
gonna
we
do?
do to change things? Because obviously it's not going well at the moment. Yeah, I think maybe a more experienced combination would have probably done that, you think?
Well, I can't comment. I mean, these guys obviously play together or have played together to get to this point, so we have to respect the fact that they have got some understanding of where they're going with it, and that's certainly a longer end. So, they're probably thinking themselves, goodness, I mean, they look cool, calm and collected out there, but if it was me, you'd probably see me tapping my foot and scratching my head and all the rest of it. These two are completely calm.
No, that's
certainly not giving any indication of being under pressure or credit to them. But
When you look at them, you wouldn't think they're 18-3 down.
Correct. They're seem quite relaxed about it, and that's good. Like if they're doing that and they're comfortable just plugging away and think that we're going to pick up a 6 here, then that's great. Like confidence is key, and
They've played together for just the last couple of seasons, so neither of these pairings have played a lot together.
right. You've done your homework. See? That's why you're the journo and not me, obviously.
But obviously, especially Albert Anderson, 33 years of bowls.
Yep.
Sam Woods, relatively inexperienced, just the 7 years, a few years in Christchurch before moving up to Nelson.
He's holding on here. I can't believe that he's managed that line for that long. So for those of you that play on indoor surfaces, you know that there is an underlay under the main carpet. So sometimes you can find the line or the join of that underlay, and certainly that looked to be tight all the way but held on for an awfully long time. One of the little idiosyncrasies, you can't get away from it. You certainly don't want to be playing for it, because as soon as you do that, you're all over the show. But you will see some things, little anomalies like that creep into some, particularly at some lengths.
And I suppose as you use the carpet for a certain amount of years as well, it would become more pronounced, would it?
Yeah. And that's a great shot.
Yeah.
It's a great bowl.
Well one down there, mate.
So yeah, there's about 4 or 5 settings on this green. You can probably see the markers actually as we look.
Little
There's
lines
chalk
on the-
lines on
yeah,
there. So
in the
about,
ditch.
there's 4 or 5 placements, settings for the rinks, and if you play here regularly, you get to experience all of them. And some of them are challenging, and some of them are very kind. So, but it is what it is on the day, and you just have to cope with it. But to hear the
You might have heard the yuck, yuck, yuck there from James Williams, unhappy with his 3, as he has a little bit of a sit down and a bit of time for reflection.
See, there's the chalk marks I'm referring to there. So there's, I can't remember the colours, blue, yellow, black, green, and another one, I think. So they move them around, which makes the carpet wear more evenly.
Right.
But certainly you might move into areas where the seams may be more pronounced than others. But it's great to hear that as Elliot alluded to earlier, that the feedback from the athletes that have been playing out here today have been, or over the weekend, have consistently sort of sung the blue-green's praises, and that's great to hear. Very good bowl there. Second shot, James indicating.
Liv Bloomfield calling in a swimming pool.
Correct.
We're not willing to call it the blue-green.
Yeah. Swimming pool, that's actually quite good.
Yeah, which you can understand. But they seem to play very well on it, Liv Bloomfield and Paris Baker,
Certainly
winning the
do.
women's title earlier this afternoon. If you missed that, beating Sarah Scott and Bronwyn Stevens of Dunedin in the final.
No, certainly played well in that.
Weren't quite as dominant as this, but they did lead throughout. And not enough ends for Sarah Scott and
This
Bronwyn
is looking
Stevens to
really
come back.
close. He's going to drop to that his own bowl. Yeah. One to play. Albert Anderson playing his last off the mat, looking to draw another shot. And that's not a bad looking line. It's going to come down to his bowl speed. And he's played it pretty well. Whether it's second shot, James is going to have a look and let us know. Leif's already playing his bowl, no matter what the outcome. So I think that's the confidence, isn't it? He's actually tight here.
Yeah, he thought it was good halfway down, then he realised,
Oh,
and he's got quite a lot of luck here.
He's
Is it enough to grab shot? I don't think he wants to take this. No, he hasn't. He hasn't done enough to take it, and actually, but it may have only cut it to one. And I think it may have been two before that last one.
Yeah,
So
old shot.
another single to the Motueka Bowling Club pairing of Albert Anderson and Sam Woods.
So that's two consecutive ends scored there. So that's maybe that's the springboard for them to get in and put three together and then four together. You know, like that's a promising feature here at the moment. So that's they'll be quite pleased about stringing those together and looking to play their own length here again.
2/3 of the way through the men's final. Champion of Champions pairs at the Hopes Bowl Stadium in Dunedin. And they need to start now picking up multiples. Because Selby and Williams, the Auckland champs of the Carlton Cornwall Club, very much still in command here. But a nice little couple of ends for Anderson and Woods.
Some sun coming through the doors at the front.
I was wondering where that was coming from. Is that the front door it comes through?
Yep.
I suppose you'd know from playing here. At a certain point of the day, it must.
Yeah, you get to this point and you get a bit of reflection through. It's a well-used venue. A lot of people come down and have a roll-up, practicing, training for whatever they're training for, whether it be individual club or representative stuff. We've used it in the past for solid representative trainings, and that's sort of on the cards moving forward as well. So it's a great facility that has been well utilised. He's going to hold on, he's just going to drop. Good enough for shot, well done.
Some good bowls. Last few ends.
Yes, he is.
There's
Sam
the
Woods
Motueka lead. Sam Woods. And James's his standard has slightly dropped the last couple of ends, it's probably fair to say.
Yeah, I think he's aware of it with his commentary coming back up the rink there. I think he's just thinking that he's might need to sharpen up a bit again. That's okay, he's got bowls in the area, he's shouldn't be too despondent. And once again, whether we're seeing a slight change that is in the green that is being noticed more by James than Sam, because Sam is coming on to his game now. So
Yeah. Bit of pressure being put on James Williams as Sam Woods. Lovely little toucher there. After drawing shot with a second.
This looks like a good grass from James Woods. James Williams, sorry, beg your pardon.
Is it going to get round his front one? That's the issue. No. Like I say, it did look on a good line, didn't it?
It did.
Just problematic with his earlier bowl.
Leif's having a look down that channel. A wee grin as they carry on past. Possibly James saying, "Ooh,
sorry, mate.
Sorry,
Haven't left you
Tiger."
much to there."
The crowd's still in up there, which is great to see.
And given the length we're playing and the way that Leif Selby's bowls really hoop round, is that enough of a big corridor for him? He probably he's going to have to come round those, aren't he, isn't he?
Well, look, I think he was looking up that corridor.
Yeah, he did seem to be.
It'll be interesting to see.
If he maybe just tries to come just on the inside, and
Well, those are
maybe
both
use it.
James in the run.
Yeah.
So if he's given it a decent chance.
Well, we're going to quickly find out because he's not going to muck around.
Yeah, pace-wise, either that.
Well,
or
actually,
he's
he's
gonna
taken more time on the mat than usual, Leif.
He's playing the forehand too. Completely stumped. Unless he's looking for that jack. No. Well,
He's going to try and come through a real narrow corridor here.
and he's close. He's just going to get onto that one. I think he'll switch back and look down that channel with his next.
So promoting one of the Woods bowls. So holding a couple here. Anderson and Woods. With Anderson now with his second. In fact, probably holding 3.
3 shots there, yeah. And that's a good grass green bowl. If he gets weight to come back, not going to.
Yeah, just need a bit more. Try and come in behind the head, ideally. Sticking.
Yeah, no, he's still
No,
on
he
his
is
forehand.
Yeah.
If he gets up to that bowl and sits, he's got second shot. Or if he pushes it through, he's got shot. He's going to...
Does he just touch under the line, is he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's James Woods coming through, though. James Williams, speaking pardon. God. I was calling him James. On its way. Hands on hips. I'm not sure that he's that enamoured.
Hands on the hips, both ends.
Both
though,
ends, yeah.
of the green. Yeah.
What is it? 3 down.
Go the jack.
Right. James acting as our camera there because he was standing in front of the camera, so but he's told us that the 3 down. Yeah, still we can see clearly there now. Hopefully James doesn't
Surprising
stand in
if he
front of the
gets
camera again.
Go the jack, yeah. I thought that's what he was looking at with his first one, actually.
He did seem to be. He was definitely looking down that corridor, wasn't he? And he surprised us by playing on the forehand.
He's tight. If he gets a wee rub,
He's going to need a bit of luck. And he didn't need to catch that flush. If he got the inside of that, might have been interesting.
Correct, yeah. Would have been a wee slip.
So 1 taken away, and certainly of the naked eye, James Williams thought it was another 2. So this could be the number they need. Three confirmed. So they've got their first multiple, have Albert Anderson and Sam Woods. So it's now 18-7. And we have completed 11 of the 15 ends. So if they continue that at that pace, they've got a chance here.
Absolutely, 3 consecutive ends, so they'll be looking to make number 4. And we've
That's the
gone
incredible thing, isn't it? That they've won 5 of the 11 ends.
Correct.
It's only been 6 ends to 5, but when you look at the fact
score.
that Selby and Williams have scored big when they've won ends, they haven't just picked up singles. Only 1 time I think they've picked up a single.
That's right. So if they put that, they'll be looking to just win this end again, and another multiple would be good. And who knows?
Yeah, that's what they'll believe.
James will be giving himself a talking to. He dropped his game slightly from what he started at, and he'll be aware of that.
And at the same time, Sam Woods has picked his game up too.
He has.
This time, Williams wants to be first to the jack. Given that opportunity, Woods not quite finding his range with his first.
Yeah, mate.
This is not bad here. He's on a nice line. If he's got the pace to bring that back. Just coming into view, jack level, that's a good shot.
Playing the 12th end of our men's final, the champion of champions men's pairs. We go back to the Mason Lounge as he has the head of the centre here, the Hopes Bowls Stadium. It's John Latimer.
Cheers, Brenton. Yes, I'm joined with John Latimer, who's the Vice President now of the Hopes Bowls Stadium here in Dunedin. John's been an integral member for numerous years in this stadium, but I'll pass you over to him just to share a few words.
Thanks very much, Elliot. Just enjoying watching this final of the men's pairs here. It's been a great weekend for us here in Dunedin at the stadium, well supported by the public, and having a thoroughly good time here. We're also looking forward to our next big event on the calendar here, which is the North-South game coming up in September. But before that, we've got a couple of PBA events as well. So we're in for a busy time for the next couple of months at the stadium here.
Yeah, good times indeed. Now, John, you also run a few other events in the stadium, like it's not just for bowls. You want to touch a wee bit more on that?
Sure. During the week we have Well South have a day here for healthcare. We have the Diabetes Society. We have Floral Arts operating out of here once a week. We have high school kids playing bowls. We have disabled people playing bowls here. We have lots of various functions with Lion Foundation for dinners. So we're more than just a bowl stadium. We're a community-based stadium as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic getting those groups through here, and it's definitely well supported and well received through the bowls community. Obviously, there are a few changes looking to happen in the stadium as well, and fingers crossed it goes ahead and the bowlers get behind it and really support it.
Yeah, for sure. We've in the last few years we've made some big improvements here. We've changed our lighting from fluorescent to LED. We've got the new carpet down now. And now we're looking forward to, as Grant alluded to earlier on, a couple of outdoor greens would just complete this complex and bring it up to international standard. And no doubt Bowls New Zealand would bring events down to Dunedin, which is what we want. We're really well supported by all the bowling clubs in Dunedin. It's an incorporated society, the stadium, and so it's owned by all the bowlers that are members here, which is fantastic.
Thanks very much for your time, John. I'll pass back over to you guys, and thanks for having me this afternoon. Cheers.
Yeah, big thank you to Elliot Mason and his guest there, John Latimer, who runs this Hopes Bowls Stadium facility. Yeah, Elliot Mason, a bowler down here. He's done a wonderful job over the day as well. Really thank you for his time, just like we thank Evan Roberts, our National High Performance Coach, who's joined myself, Brenton Vannisselroy, in commentary this afternoon. So, two so far relatively one-sided finals, but given what Anderson and Woods have done over the last couple of ends, they've just given themselves just a slide opening here to try and get back in this match.
Yeah, currently one or two down on the head there, one at least, I think.
Yeah, James Williams found his range again, didn't he, this end after a couple of off ends.
He gave himself a talking to out there, and
it worked.
Right, come on,
yeah,
let's get back with the program. And he's done well to get a couple of bowls nicely level there, and good bowl coming in here from Lace Selby. Just going to run through a little bit, but you're right. These Albert, Anderson, Sam Woods need to double down on this again and score on this end again. And that's a decent track if he can get onto the inside of those bowls, which unfortunately he hasn't. Taken one out. Opportunities now. Leif's already on the mat. James, you might. Maybe looking to sneak around his own, drop to the cat. And he's not far away. That's
Just wants
very
it to
good
stop.
bowl.
And it has. Pretty much on cue. So, is that a couple?
2,
Or 3?
3.
3. We didn't actually see that. I think the marker was putting his lollipops up, but not in camera shot.
No.
Yeah, I think it was 3, but yeah, unfortunately we can't see the
Can't see
scoreboard
the
outside
scoreboard.
our commentary position.
No, it's right behind the pillar,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
You believe it was 3, and that is really all but
Just one roll that way.
shut the door on Albert Anderson and Sam
Yeah.
Woods. You would think 3 ends to play and potentially 21-7.
Yeah, it really comes down. If they don't score on this end, then we're looking at game over.
Yeah, they'll be shaking hands, you'd think, if they don't score on this. And to be honest, if they don't score a multiple, really, on
Correct.
this end,
Yeah.
Anderson and Woods have to be 12 behind on 2 ends of play to have any chance
Yeah.
of levelling the scores if it was indeed a 3 picked up on the last.
Yeah, it'd be good to get confirmation of that.
Yeah, we'll try and hopefully once the players go out of the way, we might be able to zoom in on the scoreboard potentially on one of our cameras off screen. It was a 2 confirmation.
2
So
shots.
good work by Tamara and Colin finding one of the other. There we go. There's our scoreboard. So the Auckland combination of Leif Selby and James Williams leading Nelson's Albert Anderson and Sam Woods. Anderson and Woods at a Motueka Bowling Club. Selby and Williams at a Carlton Cornwall. I think the most winningest bowling club in New Zealand, Carlton Cornwall, especially when it comes to national open titles.
Yeah, they've racked up a few, haven't they?
Especially back when it was just Carlton before the merger with Carlton Cornwall. And Lisa Prideaux adding to that, of course, Leif Selby's partner, winning a couple of peers titles with Val Smith in recent years.
Yeah, 2021 and 2019.
Yeah, last 2 times at Carlton Cornwall as well. And we saw Val Smith last week, and she's pretty much won everything she's entered. She's had an incredible homecoming, hasn't she?
Yeah, yeah. No, I've been working with Val a little bit, and she credits it just to being back in New Zealand and comfortable in her space, and has played outstanding bowls. Led the been the mentor for that Nelson team at the intercentre, and just outstanding. And the love, the love of the game,
Yeah.
sort of returning, and she's very happy to have it there.
Yeah, she's been quite spectacular. She took out the champion of champions singles at 9i last week, if you did miss that. Of course, won the National Intercentre for Nelson, won the National Interclub for the Nelson Bowling Club, and won that National Open Women's Peers at Carlton Cornwall at the start of the year with Lisa Prideaux.
There we go. That's number 1 coming in from Albert, I think. James just indicating 1 down, I think, and certainly looks like it from this angle. Chasing the jack again, yeah. Chase the... I think it was in both of their heads to actually have a look at that jack, but just opting for that shot.
He got a bit narrow there.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking to get on the Williams bowl, is what
Yep.
James Williams had indicated, but got onto the Sam Woods short bowl.
Wouldn't surprise me if he plays it now, actually.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
that's just
turned it over
knocked
one
out,
shot.
unfortunately, that Leif Selby bowling shot.
Just chipped it
Unfortunate for
sideways.
Anderson. Just got round his own and promoted in that Selby bowl. And looking to add to the count here. Williams is interested, but needed to get inside that.
So I think that's... Oh, no, we've got one to play, beg your pardon.
Not the best of ends.
No.
Not one for the highlights reel this end.
No. Unfortunately, there's been some good ones.
He's a bit unfortunate with his last. Can he grab it back here? Albert Anderson, he needs to. Otherwise, they'll be shaking hands. Oh, and he does get it.
He does get the
He
shot.
got a bit of fortune there. It is only one, though. So they're still mathematically in contention.
They are.
20-8 it is now. And we have played 13 of the 15 ends of our men's final of the Champion of Champion pairs here at Hopes Bowl Stadium in Dunedin. So the maximum, of course, you can score in pairs 6. And so they need to score 6 on this end to stay alive. Otherwise, we will be shaking hands. And they scored a 2. And on the side, they scored a 3 a few ends back.
Yep.
Other than that, they've only scored singles, and
Singles.
that's been their issue.
Mind you, they've started their consecutive ends again. 1-1-3, and then drop the end, and so they're back onto 1 if they get consecutive ends here again.
Well, if they win this end, it's 7 ends apiece.
Correct.
And that's what's just
Just those
points
multiple-
out. It's all about the numbers that, especially early on, it was they.
Yes.
Because it
5,
was
5,
2 5s after 3 ends. It was 10-1.
5-5-2-3.
It's hard to come back from that.
15-2 after 6. Yeah, so it is very difficult. Big ask, but you know they're plugging away there and
Oh, they haven't given up. That's for sure.
enjoying their time out there.
Yeah, big occasion for them, obviously. First national final for them.
Yeah,
Biggest achievement previously was winning the centre pairs to
Absolutely.
get to the stage.
Well, that's a great effort. That's a great effort for a team that's been playing for a couple of years.
Yeah,
You've got a
absolutely.
7-year bowler playing a national final, and I think, you know, as I say to all of these, anyone that plays it gets to this point. There's a lot of teams who've gone by the wayside before you've gotten here, so they need
Dead
to
right.
take
Just to
pride.
get to the stage, to be
Yeah.
one of the 20 men's pairings was a big achievement.
Correct.
And now they've got to the final 2.
Yeah, be proud of the fact that you're there playing, because there's a lot that aren't.
Yeah, a lot of good players who have not made it to the stage.
This looks pretty tidy here.
Well done, James.
Just lacking a little bit of that finish now, I think. This is a bit overweighted. He's got to had a good track, but it's just that's ditch weight.
Yeah, taken off as it went into the ditch.
And once again, good line here from James. It's going to come down to his weight as to how far back he gets, I think. Yeah, that's very good.
Yeah, Leif Selby applauding that one.
Adjustment.
Maybe the final bowl for James Williams. Might not be required again. It would be a very good way for him to finish.
Marker indicating 2 shots, so that back shot is second.
Yeah, and the marker conversing with Sam Woods and confirming. It is just 2 that Selby and Williams are holding. And Albert Anderson to play his first. So this is the 14th end, penultimate end of our men's final, but may well be the final end that we play, because Anderson and Woods need the near impossible. They need a 6, and they've got one bowl very short. So something quite incredible is going to have to happen.
Yeah,
Perhaps they could kill it.
whether they're thinking about the kill, I'm not sure with that shot from Albert. Leif is going to get under the front one. Oh, just a touch.
It's quite hard
So-
to kill as well, isn't it?
Well, it is. He needs to hit
You just
that
need to
jack
get-
pretty pretty hard on the angle and
trust
that it goes out of the rink.
It doesn't hit anything else out.
Not. And he's tight again. It's possibly going to give the
might get a bit of luck here.
Okay.
It does get shot.
Happy with the result of getting the shot there.
But he probably doesn't want the shot, though. No. That's the thing, because your only option is to kill it. You can't get 6.
Yeah.
So you need to kill it, and now you've made it very hard to kill it.
Leif's going to move it for...
He's cleared.
Yeah. I'm not sure that they're aware of the...
Maybe they don't feel comfortable trying
that's
it.
Right. Get in there and draw the shot. And he's close here. Pretty good effort too. And he's going to make...
Oh, unfortunate, that just fell out.
Yeah, so one to the...
Yes, I think it's 1 to Anderson and Woods as Selby plays his last.
And Leif's looking for that jack, and he's very
He
close.
wants it. He wants to finish in style here, Selby. And unfortunate for him, not going to get it. But that will do it. And James Williams with the big fist pump, happy with that one to the supporters here at the Hopes Bowl Stadium. It is the Carlton Cornwall pairing of Leif Selby and James Williams, the Auckland champions, who have beaten the Nelson Centre champs Albert Anderson and Sam Woods in our men's Peers final here at the Champion of Champions Peers in Dunedin. I'll make my way rinkside once more, leave you in the hands of Evan Roberts to provide his final thoughts on this men's final.
Thanks, Brenton. Game there pretty one-sided there with Leif Selby, James Williams taking that out 20-9, and what a great achievement from the Anderson and Woods team to get through to this final. As I said, there's a lot of teams come through this, and to get to this final, it's a huge kudos to them to be at the sharp end here. So well done, particularly, as I understand it, Sam Woods, a relatively early stage bowler, 7 or so years. Leif Selby, of course, pedigree from Australia, one of Australia's greats. So great to see him out on the green here and doing what he does best, and that's playing great bowls with the LS 125. And I'm sure that everybody here has enjoyed their time and at the Dunedin, the Hopes Dunedin Bowl Stadium, and certainly positive commentary from most of the players that have been involved. And Brenton heading down there now to interview the winners, Leif Selby, James Williams from the Carlton Cornwall Bowling Club, and that will basically be wrapping up the weekend. Tamara and Co for their systems and service here. Brenton's on screen. I'll stop yapping. Take it away, Brenton.
I have Leif Selby here, the skip of the successful men's pair here in Dunedin. Congratulations, Leif. You haven't played much bowls of late, but this must be pretty satisfying to return with a title.
Oh, it certainly was. To play with James is a bit of a scallywag, and I've really enjoyed it, He played really well throughout the whole event, from back at club level to here, and look, we come down here, played on this facility, the stadium here, really enjoyed it, and it was good to get a win.
Yeah, the last 3 days helped rekindle that love for the sport, you think?
Oh, it certainly has, and I've met a lot of people whilst I was here as well, which is a big part of the sport. Everyone's been really friendly and want to know me, so I've really enjoyed that part of the couple of days as well. But, to play with James, I'm really proud of the boy. And Carlton Cornwall, thanks to them for all their support as well. Yeah.
So hopefully this is the start of a bit more bowls from you think, on the New Zealand scene?
I think it could be, I'm starting to really enjoy this again. It's been a long time between drinks, but when you start to enjoy what you're doing, you might see a bit more of me. Yeah.
And just finally a word on the indoor facility here in Dunedin.
Oh, it's been great. You know, thank God it was indoor because it's too damn cold outside the last couple of days. But look, it's been great. It's a bit different to play on a blue carpet, but the surface was great and saw some really good bowls over the week. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was good.
I'll leave you to go get your trophy. Congratulations once again.
Good. Cheers, mate. Thank you. Cheers.
Leif Selby there, our men's champion from the men's pair, along with James Williams, away to get their trophy. I'll hand you back to Evan Roberts and make my way back into the commentary position.
Thanks, Brenton. Well, what a weekend of bowls here at the Hopes Dunedin Bowl Stadium. Great crowds in for the whole weekend, and obviously enjoying the atmosphere and the bowls being played. There's still a good number of people in the lounge enjoying the hospitality. And big thanks to the Bowls New Zealand team for asking me in here. Tamara doing a great job on the switching and the production. And to Colin, who's been managing the scoreboard and other bits and pieces. And yeah, thank you very much. Pass you back to Brenton. He's probably going to close it off. Thanks, mate.
Thank you very much, Evan. Great work, mate.
Thank you.
Great to have the expert comments from Evan Roberts, our national high performance coach and lead for performance analysis, as well as we're again hearing from Martin McKenzie, tournament director.
Acknowledge all the 20 teams that played in the men's. Thank you very much for making the effort coming down to this event. I'd also like to thank the Hopes Dunedin Bowl Stadium for their hospitality over the last 3 days. That has been outstanding and we really appreciate it. I'd particularly like to acknowledge John Latimer. John has been fantastic in the work he's done over the last few days, and I can't speak highly enough of him for the assistance he's given me and the team around him that have worked tirelessly over the last 3 days. I'd also like to mention Pat and her team in the kitchen, the bar staff, and everyone else that's been around to assist with the event. I must also mention our umpires, Michael Ayers, who has been a rock for me over the whole weekend, and I couldn't have done it without him. So most appreciated to Michael for his hard work over the last few days, and his team of umpires, which have been fantastic. So please give them a round of applause. I'd just also like to mention the Bowls New Zealand team that have run this event. CEO Mark Cameron and his team, including the broadcast team who've been doing the skysportnext, Tamara, Brenton, Colin. We also had some assistance from Elliot and Evan Roberts on commentary this afternoon, which hopefully you'll be able to watch again at some stage. It's a good telecast, so you'll enjoy it. Live streaming has become very important for Bowls New Zealand. We're getting out to a wider audience all the time, and right around the country they've been able to watch this final today. We'll get straight to the presentation of medals. The semi-finalists and bronze medalists for the men's pairs, Bill Clements and Trevor Ludlow from Alexandra and Central Otago, and Dan and David Hood from Monterey and Northland.
So the first of our bronze medalists, Bill Clements and Trevor Ludlow from Central Otago, the Alexandra Bowling Club. And we saw earlier take up a bronze also in the women's, and now Daniel and David Hood out of Northland, out of the Whangarei Bowling Club.
Albert Anderson and Sam Woods from Motueka and Nelson.
And now Albert Anderson and Sam Woods, the Motueka Bowling Club in Nelson. Our runners-up and silver medalists get presented their medals again by the Bowls New Zealand President, Mark O'Connor.
Our gold medalists and 2021 Men's Champion of Champions Pairs winners, I'll start again. Our gold medalists and 2021 Men's Pairs Champion of Champions winners, can I get it out? I'm sorry. Late, I'm sorry. Leif Selby and James Williams, Carlton Hall and Auckland.
So an Auckland double at the champion of champion peers here at the Hopes Bowl Stadium in Dunedin. Earlier this afternoon, it was the Auckland champs out of the Newland Bowling Club, Liv Bloomfield and Paris Baker. And now the Carlton Cornwall combination and Auckland champs, Leif Selby, former Australian international, and James Williams, who have taken out our men's final and presented with the trophy from Mark O'Connor. And I think Leif Selby may just say a few words.
Thanks to Bowls New Zealand, the tournament committee and everybody involved. It was a fantastic couple of days here. We really enjoyed ourselves. To the Hopes Bowl Stadium, magnificent facility here. Thank God we were playing inside last couple of days. But look, to everybody that we played, look, met so many nice people here whilst we were down here. Had a fantastic time. To all the people that come out to spectate, you guys really make those games enjoyable for us as players to play. So thank you so much for creating that atmosphere for us. To all the other finalists, congratulations to you also. I'd like to say a big thank you to the Carlton Cornwall Club, which is our club, and for their continued support. Thank you so much. Don't really know what to say to this scallywag here, but mate, I'm so proud of you, I really am. Congratulations to you, you've played so well, right through from club level, well deserved. Good on you, mate. I'm sure your family will be very proud of you as well. So, you've been a good mate, and it's been a privilege to play with you. Thank you, James. But overall, thank you so much, Dunedin. We had a great time down here and hope to come back again someday. Yeah, thank you so much.
Awesome, mate. Thanks, Brendan. Congratulations to our winners and finalists, semi-finalists.
That completes the festivities here from the Hopes Bowl Stadium in Dunedin. There are our medalists, the champions, Leif Selby and James Williams on the left. Our runners-up, Albert Anderson and Sam Woods of Nelson. And then our two bronze medalists, Daniel and David Hood from Northland, and Bill Clements and Trevor Ludlow from Central Otago. But it has been the Auckland double here in Dunedin. The champion of champions peers titles going the way of the Carlton Cornwall and Newland Bowling Clubs. They'll be heading to Auckland next week as we have completed our second of 4 Champion of Champions tournaments for the month of July. Make sure you join us next week here on Sky Sport Next. We'll be in Hastings for the Champion of Champions triples. But for now, farewell and ka kite anō.